Hello, everyone. Welcome to Molehill Mountain, episode 427. Andrew here. Hope your holidays were happy. Mine were fine. Uh, my last gift finally got to my sister today, the 3rd of January, so that's not the worst I've done. Well, I guess it's not me, it's just the various postal services. So, my sister and I have yet to do our gift exchange, so technically I ain't got nothing for Christmas. Um, but that'll change in the next week or two, or whenever we get around to it. I have some packages sitting over there from my sister, and in the meantime, let me tell you the few things that I bought from myself. Now, if you watched the video I put out a couple days ago talking about how I spent my Patreon money, you'll have heard that I bought a new tripod and teleprompter housing for making YouTube videos. And if you watch that video, you know that my skin tone was very gray. I looked like death, warmed over. Well, that's because the color balancing was a bit different because the I was shooting through a different piece of teleprompter glass. Um, I tried to fix it in my editor, but for some reason my editor would only adjust literally half of the image, and I really didn't feel like taking the time to figure out why that was. Um, Part of it is just the lighting in here sucks because I have no lighting. Apartments, at least 10 years ago when I rented this one, just don't have any built-in lighting anymore. There's just no lights. You're expected to just bring all your own lights. And I have a halogen lamp over there, and that I bought. That's about it. Um, so I do have some lights that I've been using. You can see one I have up there in the corner. That's not really cutting it. This pane's a bit darker, and it's got a different tone to it. So I need to adjust the. So I need to spend some time just recording and flipping through settings. But I also bought myself a new key light, which is over here. And this one's pretty neat because I can control it with my phone. Hey, look at that. Pretty neat, huh? And also with this thing is I can adjust the brightness and also the color temperature. So we can go kind of blue or we can go really hot and orange. So that's pretty neat. Whee! So hopefully that will help. I have this as a main key light, that one up in the corner as a fill, and then the halogen behind me as a background light to separate me from the background. Um, One thing I've noticed in both the teleprompter and the new key light that I have is they keep coming with like instruction booklets, which I really like, and there's lots of pages, except this first bit is all you get. And this doesn't even cover all the crap that comes in the box. Like all this crap. What is this crap? I don't know, because what am I supposed to do with it? It doesn't say. In fact, it doesn't tell you how to put the damn thing together. It just says, attach the light to the stand. Cool. How? Well, you can figure it out. But I mean, if you're going to the trouble of printing this entire thing, just put the goddamn instructions in there. I mean, at least this one is is large enough to actually read unlike the teleprompter, which you need a magnifying glass or, way better than 20/20 vision. Um, but I figured it out, I think. I hope. Like, what are these? I'm guessing this is for cables. Just a little plastic ring for, to bundle cables together, I guess. I mean, these are obvious. These are just different types of plugs that you can put on the power brick so that you can plug this thing into various different standard wall sockets. So that's neat. Would be nice if they actually said that in the booklet. Now, my old teleprompter housing, which my tripod broke and dumped this thing on the floor, which broke this. So this is the old housing. You'll notice it has just a cloth on it. You know, here's the, that's the glass, and it's completely rigid. Well, it used to be rigid until, this bit down here broke. And then, where's the other broken bit? One of these is cracked. I just have it kind of seated in there. And it doesn't line up anymore. It's yeah, it's kind of damaged. But the way this thing worked is you would put like a phone or a tablet on here, and the camera you'd bolt back here, and it would shoot through the glass, and you just cover it like this. And you can see that this is kind of pulling off because there's only these very small little bits of Velcro on the side. So I kind of have a, where is it? I have a safety pin holding this one on. So, and you have to worry about, this. You have to keep this taut because this could slack and fall in front of the camera. And also, attaching the camera, when you have larger hands, it is really difficult getting your fat damn fingers in here. I mean, you can do here, but yeah, it's a real pain in the butt. So, here's my new one, which also has some interesting things. You can see this little bit on the side. That's for attaching like a microphone or a light. There's another one on the other side. And the rail actually goes back in, can adjust. You'll notice as compared to the last one, the rail is flush with where the camera sits, but the camera sits up on a block. Unfortunately, when this is all the way out, even with my camera pushed all the way up against the glass, I can still see these hooks. So I have to zoom in a little bit past it, or use my phone. And the last video I did, I tried using my phone, and I sit close enough to this thing that I can read it off my phone anyway. Plus, the nice thing about the phone is, and you saw me playing around with this on the video, is I have a little remote that I can sync to my phone and pause the scroll if it starts getting ahead of me, and I can back it up if I screw up a line and need to start re-recording instead of getting up, walking over, pausing it, thumbing it with my finger to to scroll back to where I need to be. So that's really handy. Also, this thing that the camera sits on comes off, so it's a lot easier to screw the camera onto it and then screw this thing onto the rail. So that just makes my life easier. Also, it's got like a drawstring bag, so the cover doesn't get in the way of the camera. And this is also a sturdy thing that's not going to fall. It Velcros all the way around. And this entire thing actually collapses. And, hang on. And, whoops, can you see? And fits in a little briefcase. Neat. So, pretty happy with those purchases. It's a shame that also I can't use the remote with my tablet. I was gonna say the only disadvantage really is the platform that extends too far, and the camera catches the little hooks on the end. So if you're gonna use a tablet, you have to zoom in. But my tablet's too old for the remote app, so gonna use my phone anyway, so doesn't matter. Chaos, hello. So yeah. Oh, and it was really, really, really difficult figuring out how the hell to get the teleprompter app to work because there are zero instructions for it. Working it is pretty obvious, but how do you how do you load your script into the teleprompter app? Um, it looks like it links to a service like Dropbox, but it actually doesn't. It just has a local IP address that you can upload a file to. Um, and that IP address is hidden about 4 levels deep in a menu that you get to by adding a file, which to me is counterintuitive because, or rather, create a file. Because to me, create a file means I'm typing crap on my phone rather than importing a file. So it took me like 40 minutes of searching around the internet, desperately trying to find some walkthrough. But I found it. It works. Now I just have to spend some time playing with my lighting and camera settings so that I don't look gray and undead. At least my audio's nice. um, oh, I also tried my shotgun mic that plugs into the because of the little extensions on the side where I can hook things like lights and mics and stuff. I didn't use the problem is I attached the mic to the top of the camera and plugged it in and tried that, but you just get the mechanical camera sound on the audio. And I mean, I can remove it in Audacity, but the amount of effort that takes is approximately equal to the amount of effort of just syncing my video and audio in the first place. So, you know. But I thought, you know what? Maybe if if it's not physically attached to the camera, at least one-to-one, if it's attached to the arm that's attached to the frame that's attached to the seat that the camera is screwed onto, maybe that's far enough away where I can actually use the audio, the camera's audio, and I won't have to sync stuff. No, no, it's just anything that's directly plugged into the camera is going to pick up the mechanical whine of the camera. Oh well. So I'll just have to sync the video and audio the old-fashioned way. Uh, Not a huge deal. It's about as much trouble as removing a consistent noise, a hiss or a buzz or something from an audio track. That's not a big deal. I mean, if you use Audacity, it's like isolate the sound, highlight the whole track, remove it. That's about it, right? But that, again, that's about as much effort as, going clap, 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 and then lining things up and calling on the timeline, the editing timeline, and calling it a day. So, yeah, let's see, that's to about $350 worth of stuff. New teleprompter housing, new tripod, and new key light. But hopefully it'll make for some more pleasant looking videos. So that's nice. I finally finished Suikoden. So I'm working, which, if you remember, that was a Patreon reward video. We played we dedicated a Sunday stream to it to last April, and it took me all year to finish it because I was playing it off and on, but finally finished it. And what's interesting is I generally like the game, but as I'm looking at my notes as I'm writing the script, most of my notes are some pretty harsh criticisms. Granted, of a 30-year-old PlayStation 1, early PlayStation 1 era RPG. So it's interesting because I came off a positive, and I'm looking at my notes, I'm like, wow, I'm going to have to be very careful with my script because I'll spend the entire time complaining. ETH Demon, hello, have my first overseas trip to Japan next month. Oh, fun. I hope safe travels. I hope you have a good time. So I'm working on the Suikoden script. Hope to have that done sometime this month. So keep an eye out. I'll have a little what I thought of Suikoden, and then we'll have a Sunday stream dedicated to Suikoden 2, and hopefully it won't take me an entire, well, 8 months for me to finish the game and do another video on that. Chaos says, if you liked Suikoden, 3 and 4 are available digitally on the PS3. Sadly, 5 is only available on PS2. Huh. Well, I've got the Suikoden 1 and 2 HD remaster collection, uh, which I think came out in like March or April of last year, and thing got delayed a year because Steve Raberdeen, the patron who requested those videos, requested that a while before Suikoden, requested it like 6 months before Suikoden's first release date, and it just kept getting delayed and kept getting delayed to the point where it's like, okay, I owe you 4 videos now. So 2 streams and 2 videos is what we're gonna do. So I finished Suikoden. I also finally finished Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, like a dragon pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. That's what it's called, something like that. And really liked that one. Every time I play one of the Ryoga Gotoku games, I think, you know, maybe I'll 100% this one. I love this series. You think I'll just, just to do it once, I'll 100% it. But no, I didn't 100% this one either. I always beat the game, do all of the side quests, but I don't do the entire completion list because there's always at least something, if not a handful of things. Hey, Brian, that I just don't want to do. One of them was travel 30 kilometers on the scooter, and I would have had to just drive in a circle on the scooter for 20 minutes, and I just didn't want to. I didn't want to. There was another one in there that was that's engaging with the in-game camera, and I think it's like take 5 selfies with people who are posing, and I'm like, I just don't want to. Also, I couldn't figure out the controls in like the 60 seconds that I tried, because I'd face a person who's like, and I go, okay, pull up camera. I'm looking at them. Hit the button to operate selfie mode. Okay, I'm looking away from the person I want to take a selfie with. Okay. Okay, so let me try and walk next to the person and face the same way they are, and then I'll pull up my camera so that it's pointed away from them, and then I'll flip it, and somehow I'm still pointed away from them. I don't know. I give up. I don't care. It's that kind of thing. Also, I don't know how to play shogi very well, and I don't know how to play mahjong very well. Poker and blackjack, I'm fine. Ochikaibo and koi koi, I'm totally fine at too. The Hanafuda games, no problem. The dice games, which actually haven't been in the Yakuza games since, Jesus, like 4 or something like that. I love those too. Chohan and the dice and the bolt, which is actually a mini game in Suikoden, which amused me to no end. So yeah, I didn't 100% Yakuza Pirate Dragon in Hawaii, but really enjoyed the game. I thought it was incredibly charming, had a fun story, some pretty great characters. A couple of them were a bit underserved in that they're important, but there's like one character who's important, but they show up like once towards the beginning and then again at the end, and it's like that character needed a little bit more time because it's like, oh yeah, you you were in this game, weren't you? It's that kind of a thing. But really, what the most important part of any narrative, I suspect, is the ending. Because you can have because if you go out with a bang, if your ending is just really good, then you end the story just feeling great. Even if the story leading up to it was kind of mid, right? But if you have a really good story that you're just enjoying, and then it drops the ball at the very end, like Bride of Chucky's last 30 seconds, I love that movie. I think it's hilarious, but the last 30 seconds are monumentally stupid to the point where it actually makes me upset. And I remember my sister and I walking out of the theater back in Jesus 1998, whenever it came out. And I was like, ugh, that was stupid. It's like, you didn't like the movie? It's like, no, I liked the movie, but the very, very, very end was very stupid. And now I've got a bad taste in my mouth. You know? Um, Pirate Yakuza Dragon in Hawaii ends with a dance number, a la how Bayonetta. I don't remember if they did it in 2, but I know they do it in 1 and 3, where they just bring all the cast back to have a big old dance number, even the dead ones. It's like a curtain call, and curtain calls are great. And actually, Suikoden has a curtain call for all 108 damn characters. But do they dance in Suikoden? Well, the one dancer lady does. And Tyr McDowell dances with her. But other than that, no, they don't dance at the end. But Majima and all of the characters, again, even the dead ones, get together and send us off with a dance number, and it's wonderful, and it made me happy. And I'm like, that's how you end a game, because I'm happy now. Even some of the small little nitpicks, don't care anymore. Because you danced for me, and that's all I need. I need to play Expedition 33. You're right, and I'm going to in the next month or two after we finish Cold Steel 2, because that's another Patreon reward video. So we will have a Sunday stream dedicated to Clair Obscur Expedition 33. I imagine that will be probably not until February sometime, because I don't know how... We are in the finale of Cold Steel 2, but we have to go through all of Eastern Erebonia and talk to everybody, so it might take a while to finish the game yet. But that is coming up. Let's see. I should play the Mass Effect Legendary Edition trilogy. I don't know. I don't know about Mass Effect. Oh, you know one thing I like about Suikoden? You don't have... There's no stupid romance crap. I mean romance crap as in... You have the option to date, like, all 108 characters. That feels like something that they'd try to crowbar in modern day. You know, it's like, oh, but which of the 108 stars of something do you want to date? I don't want to. See, if I played, what's that game, Dispatch, I'd be desperately trying to avoid all of the relationships. Partially because I'm a stick in the mud, and partially because I don't think dating your coworkers is a good idea. The ones that work above you or below you. Anyway, let's see. Brian says, speaking of Like a Dragon, I finally started to play Dondoko Island myself. It was also very kind of RGG to package it with the Infinite Wealth side game. There is, in Infinite Wealth, there is the Sicko Snap game, which is kind of like Pokemon Snap. So you get on the little Hawaii tour bus or trolley that just goes around Honolulu on a loop, and you take pictures of guys in their Speedos, you know, shaking their hips. Because. And, that was it was a funny little mini game. You know, they're hanging from trees and they're hiding behind fire hydrants and they scoot by on skateboards and all that kind of jazz. In there's the same routes are in Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, Sicko Snap Returns, and the same routes, but there's an additional secret route, and it's even more Pokemon Snap. It's you are like on a little boat cruising through like a tropical jungle island, and then you realize they're reusing Dondoko Island as part of the Sicko Snap minigame, and it's really cleverly done. That's that's a really intelligent way for asset reusage. That it works really well, and also they do a lot of things. The Sicko Snap things where they some of the your side characters, you'll spot them running around. It feels almost like a Disneyland ride, right? Where there's these little vignettes of the characters standing around, telling these little mini stories of them chasing these guys throughout. It's really, really cute and really funny. I very much liked it. Let's see. uh, Expedition 33 short, only 30-ish hours for an RPG. Suikoden, I think, was actually pretty short too. I mean, if you're not trying to get all 108 people, you can probably finish that sucker in under 30 hours easy. I don't. I probably. I mean, even me, I 100%ed, I think, the game, and I think I was only between like 30, 40 hours. And I talk to everybody. So, yeah, let's see. Skip the romance in Mass Effect, yeah. Stars of Destiny Chaos, thank you. So yes, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. Like a dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. There you go. There's a new game coming out on Steam sometime this year, next year, who the hell knows, called Escape Academy 2 Back to School. I'd never heard of the original Escape Academy, but this is a fairly low budget, probably very small team who it's an escape room, the game. So it's a high school completely patterned around escape rooms. And I played the demo and I thought it was pretty neat. So I bought the original game, which was on sale. And I played it and I thought it was pretty damn cool. It's very single screen adventure. Basically, you have a picture of your campus, and you just click on which building you want to go to because there's a puzzle room there. It's not a full 3D area. You don't wander around. It's just basically a collection of escape room puzzles, which themselves are navigatable 3D, tied together, themed and tied together by a overarching narrative. What I really liked about the game is, one, the puzzle designs are mostly really quite good. But I really liked how damn clever some of them were. For example, one of my favorites is your headmaster is like going out in the field to rescue one of the professors who's been kidnapped by the Anti-Escape Room League or something. And they have him like kidnapped, or they have him held hostage on a submarine or something. So your headmaster is going to go do the Sam Fisher thing and break in and rescue him. And you, the student, are going to stay at home or stay at the school and provide support. And so she radios back whenever she needs help. Like hey, there's a turret that is shooting at me and I'm pinned down. I need you to help. And so you have to find the instruction manual for the radio to find out the list of codes like 10-4, acknowledge, or 10-23, whatever that one is. So you can say yes, no, acknowledge, hold on a minute. And what you do is you go through the camera feeds, and then you look at the turret that's shooting at her, and you can see the serial number on the side, and you relay the serial number to her so she can hack into it and do stuff. And then you have to go through the floor plans of the submarine to narrow down and determine which floor and which cell the prisoner is being held in. And then you have to figure out, based on the time and other things, where on the map you are, so that you can tune to the frequency so that you don't lose contact with them. It's really, really clever. Really, the only place I'd say where it fails is it doesn't feel like it feels like you and the one Paisley gal who's your rival is the only other student in the school. I guess everyone else graduated and you're just kind of slow. Because there's like the headmaster, two teachers, a janitor, you, and one other student, and that's it. So it doesn't really feel like a high school. But the demo for Escape Academy 2 is a full 3D campus with students wandering around. And in addition to actual bespoke escape room puzzle rooms, there's a bunch of mini side quests that you perform, seek out and perform, kind of like the little side activities that you can do in Hyrule in the last two Legend of Zelda games, like the geoglyph puzzle, the hidden Koroks in the various ways that they're hidden. Like there's one student's like, golly, I sure am thirsty. And so you go to the vending machine to get them a soda, but you have to kind of figure out which code to punch in to get them the soda, because where the soda is, the code is a question mark, and you have to use the codes. It's basically a Sudoku puzzle to figure out what to punch in to get this cola. There's a cat that wants a fish, so you have to figure out how to, I don't remember what the puzzle is, but you have to figure out how to like unlock the cafeteria. It has something to do with the cafeteria opens at noon, so you have to figure out a puzzle to advance the clock to noon, so the cafeteria opens up and you can buy a fish sandwich and feed the cat. So I think Escape Academy 2 is going to have hopefully it'll have just as fun and well designed and imaginative main escape room puzzles, while also having connective tissue that thematically and narratively makes sense. And you'll actually feel like you're a student at this really weird escape room school, because there's things to do and people to talk with and all that jazz. So what is it called? Escape Academy. Short, but yeah, pretty good. I mean, the main game is the main game is like 10 or 11 escape rooms. It's not very long. It's going to take you maybe between 4 and 5 hours to get through, unless one puzzle just completely flummoxes you and you just end up staring at it forever. On the other hand, they're all timed. Most of them usually have a time limit of like 20 minutes or so, but a couple of them are up in the half an hour range. So I like that one. And lastly, I bought a game. I played the demo and was quite impressed, so I bought the Séance of Blake Manor, which is a detective mystery game kind of a thing, where you are a person who goes to the titular Blake Manor, where there will be held a séance. And you have to figure out, you're sent there to figure out what the hell happened to Evelyn Dean. Hopefully it's, this joke would have worked if I could remember the name. Edith Finch. Would have been better if I had that off the top of my head. Hopefully whatever happened to Evelyn Dean is not what happened to Edith Finch, because Jesus Christ, that game. Oh man, I played that one on a Sunday stream years ago and I lost my shit over and over, because that game is just, it's good. I liked it, but it's so tragic that I giggled myself to tears, and then I felt really bad about it, because it's really genuinely horrifically tragic what happens to some of these people, but it's so over the top tragic that well, my funny bone was struck. Anyway, what was I talking about? Oh, Séance of Blake Manor. This game succeed. Well, I'm in the middle of it right now. We're in the first quarter of it. I don't know. This game is so far doing a really great job, methinks, of making you actually feel like a detective, rather than the protagonist in a mystery narrative. If you've ever played any of the AI Somnium File games, you play, Detective, what's his name, Date, I think, um, who is presented with a mystery, and he does solve it, but you, the player, really don't. It's much more visual novelty uh, than anything else, right? This game does a really great job of making you feel like you are actually a detective, figuring stuff out, putting pieces together. So how it works is it's on an interesting sort of timer. The drop dead date is, of course, the seance that's going to be that Sunday night. I think you arrive there like Friday night. So you have late Friday night is the tutorial. So you basically have Saturday and Sunday, the weekend, to figure everything out. And how you do that is you examine the environment, you talk to people, you break into their rooms and have a snoop. Um, you pick up anything that's not nailed down, particularly stuff that you think will be helpful, like the keys to everyone's rooms. Um, but how it works is it's not done in real time. Every action you take costs usually an in-game minute. So if you want to uh, look at a portrait on the wall, that's going to take a minute. If you open up someone's desk drawer and you see a book or a journal or some letters in there and you think that might be worth taking a snoop, that's going to cost a minute. And that may not sound like much, but there's like 20 characters in this game, so like 20 rooms to search and 20 people to talk to and a bunch of mysteries. And you can ask most of the characters about most everything, so that can add up real quick. So of course the way I play it is every hour, basically how it works is every hour the characters relocate to somewhere else. So if a person is in the bar at 4 o'clock, they're gonna be at the bar in the bar from 4 to 5. So you can go snoop in their room if it's unlocked or you have the key, without any worry that they're going to catch you. The game's fully voice act well, not fully voice acted, but there are some, most of the asking people questions about all of your evidence, that's just text, but all of the unique stuff that's all fully voiced and it's done pretty darn well. um a giant cast of eclectic interesting characters, and the various puzzles are pretty fun. It's definitely very mystical, very ghosts kind of a thing. um you have to figure out how to draw runes to do certain magic-y things. You use a Ouija board to talk to a ghost at one point. Um, you have to figure out combinations to stuff. You may find someone's medical records, but not know what the hell the drug they're taking is. So you have to either try asking the local one of the characters is a physician. You can try asking them, or you can try looking it up in a book in the library. What's interesting is there's you find out that Evelyn Dean, the person you're trying to find the whereabouts of, had an argument with a man Tuesday night when there was the big bridge game. So you try and figure out who was at the bridge game, which would provide them an alibi. But just because someone tells you that they were playing bridge doesn't mean they were. These characters will lie to you, so you do have to verify their. You have to corroborate their story. So if someone says I was at the bridge game, you have to go ask another person. It's like, were you there? Yeah. Who else was there? That guy too. Okay, so we can cross him off the list. He was definitely there. then there's another guy who's like, "Oh, I wasn't. I was in the library by myself, just sitting by the fire and enjoying a book." So, okay, cool. So we've got like one guy who says he was in his room praying or something, and another guy who was just in the library by the fire enjoying a book. So, how do we determine which one of them was actually where they say they were? Well, the guy in his room, there's probably no way to really verify that other than taking his word. But the other guy, what you end up doing is you go into the library and you look at the seat by the fire and you notice that there's a burn mark, about, a quarter-sized burn mark in the arm of the chair. And if you're paying attention to the guy, you know that he has cigars on him. And so you might think, okay, did he burn the chair? You can ask him, but he probably wouldn't fess up to damaging the hotel property or the manor's property. Well, the manor is treated like a hotel, so uh and you can ask pretty much anyone about this, but you should probably ask the staff of the hotel. And you ask the like the head maid, and she's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, I was yeah, he was in the library and he fell asleep and dropped his cigar on the arm of the chair, and had luckily he didn't set the place on fire." So it's that kind of a thing, and it's really engaging. I'm really enjoying it. Um, might be a little bit. It's definitely not going to be to everyone's taste. Um, it's definitely pretty slow and pretty well deliberately paced, I'd say, and very wordy. But you know me, I love talking to everybody, so um, you have a lot of the time gives you a lot of freedom to choose what you can actually moving around and looking to see where people are. That doesn't cost you any time. So you can, once an hour rolls over, if you want, you can take the time to just wander around and see where everyone is. And you can actually, if they're paired off in a corner somewhere, you might be able to eavesdrop on them. So it may behoove you to go look, see where they are. You can also find like a schedule of events to see what's going on in the hotel at what times. Most people have some type of journal that you can snoop in to see where they'll be at different times, but it won't give you their entire schedule because, which makes sense. I mean, no one's going to plot out there. At 2 o'clock, I will be standing in the atrium for an entire hour. At 3 o'clock, I will be standing out by the horse stables for an entire hour. At 4, right? They'll just say, oh, I'm going to go to the bar at 4. I'm going to play in the hedge maze at 6. Something like that. Oh, by the way, yes, you can pet the horse. There's a horse in the stable, and you can pet the horse, and you get an achievement for it. So that's nice. Um, there's a lot of the you can spend a minute examining like every portrait in the entire manor, but that can be a waste of time. But sometimes you also never know what you might find buried in someone's clothes hanging in their wardrobe. So a lot of times there may be nothing, and sometimes there will be a lot of stuff. I did find that I am probably a bit more thorough than the creators of the game might think most players are, um, because I ended up hitting clues that pointed me in directions that I'd already found. One of the first things you do is try and figure out what room Miss Dean was staying in. Um, so there's like 20 some rooms, and there's uh, however many rooms there are 4 empty ones. And it's like, okay, so I'm gonna snoop in the 4 empty rooms and see if I can find any evidence that she was ever there. Well, under the bed in one of the rooms, I found a key that apparently one of the custodial service had dropped. And I also was snooping around the storage closet. They let me in the linen closet in this one. Aha. And found another key in there, which opened up most of the bedrooms. And I also found like a safe in the stables, but I didn't have a password for that. or the combination for the safe. And then a couple in-game hours later, I walk out in the atrium and I see like the hotel staff arguing with each other. It's like, where the hell are all the keys? And it's like, okay, Larry had the keys when he was cleaning out the the unoccupied bedrooms. Ask him and see if he dropped it somewhere. Um, and she's like, "Oh, the keys for this, they're in the storage closet. That's where I keep it." And it's like, and Larry, the stable guy, he's got the keys locked up in his safe or something for the second floor. And I was sitting there thinking, yeah, I have all these keys already, and I know where the last set of keys are. So I, you know, pat myself on the back for being particularly thorough, I suppose. What I'll be interested. Also, the game does a. There's so much evidence, so much information. A game like this is going to live and die by its UI or its UX, its user experience, the how the menus are organized and navigatable, and it does a really solid job at organizing everything in a intuitive and searchable way. Really, my only complaint is it was clearly built for PC because it works on controller, but sometimes navigating the menus with the D-pad just doesn't work. It's like, oh, I want to look at the piece of evidence to the right. 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 And it takes a few tries, and it's like, oh, D-pad controller, yes, right, right. Boop. Right. Um, the control stick seems to mimic the mouse pretty damn well, but I mean, when I'm moving in a grid in a menu, I want to use the D-pad, so not the biggest deal, but could be better. Let's see. Anything else I want to relay about this game? Yeah, so some nice puzzles, makes you actually feel like a detective who's using their powers of observation and deduction to figure out what's going on. I also like that the game is, unless it pulls some weird it was all a dream, or there was poison gas, um hallucinogenic gas pumping through the manor all weekend. It's right up front. It's like, yeah, ghosts are real. The supernatural's real. Don't worry. That's not the point of the mystery. Is someone actually being a fraud and doing the house on haunted hill thing? No, it's just ghosts. you know. Um. Uh. I'll leave that one for you to discover if any of you decide to play it. There's one really great bit regarding your search for Evelyn Dean, where that made me that I really liked once I realized what it was doing. Um, Real cool game. I'm really like it. Hopefully it sticks the landing. As I said, endings are very important. You can have a great game, and if it ends poorly, you walk away with a bad taste in your mouth. I seriously doubt there's going to be a cast-wide dance number at the end of this game. It's not the manor itself is 3D, but the characters are all 2D billboards that just kind of rotate to fit. Well, there's a uh, forward, backward, and side profile, but basically they're just billboards that kind of face you at all times. So the characters in the game are all 2D elements, so there's not going to be a fully animated 3D dance number, as cool as that would be. So yeah, Escape, no, but Blake, the Séance of Blake Manor. Pretty cool little game. I quite like it. One mystery game that was very popular last year was Blueprints, which is a pretty great name. Blueprints, ha ha ha. That got a very interesting premise, apparently impeccable puzzle design. A lot of people loved it. Haven't tried it myself because I'm afraid it's going to annoy me because it's like a roguelike detective game in the sense that you're exploring a mansion. But what room is a mansion that reshuffles all its rooms every day, so you never know which rooms you're going to get. It's kind of a deck builder kind of a game where when you open a door, which room is on the other side of the door is a lottery of three. So it draws three room cards and you pick which room you want. And the idea is to pick a room with like doors on the other end so that you can keep going through the house. The problem is, and I've seen this in a couple of reviews, is if you are really engaged with a particular puzzle, you might say, I need to get into the billiard room because that's pointing to a clue that's in the billiard room, and then it may take you days to actually get the billiard room to spawn again. Most of the people I saw reviewed it were like, yeah, don't fall into that trap. Don't try to get rooms. Just let it flow. Just there's plenty of mysteries. Just enjoy whatever rooms come to your attention. And I am definitely afraid that I am of the personality where I would get sincerely annoyed that I couldn't get the goddamn billiards room to pop up. Right? I think that would... I'm very concerned. I'm very interested in checking out the game, but I'm very concerned that that structure would just annoy the shit out of me. But maybe it'll be super sailed at some point, and I'll pick it up on the cheap and give it a look-see. And that's all I have to talk about for tonight. I apologize for canceling everything last weekend. I don't know what happened. Throat swelled up. I might have had a slight allergic reaction to something I ate. Haven't had an experience like that since I first tried Nutella a couple of years ago. And learned I must be mildly allergic to nutmeg? What is Nutella? Hazelnut. I don't know what the hell I ate, though. I no idea what it was, but yeah, my throat just kind of swelled up and it was hard to swallow and talking was difficult. So I'm like, okay, if talking is difficult and uncomfortable, podcasts and then 5-hour stream where I read all the NPC dialogue, probably not a good idea. So that's it for tonight. Look forward to a Suikoden video in the next couple of weeks. Look forward to Sunday stream dedicated to Suikoden 2, and a Sunday stream dedicated to Clair Obscure Expedition 33. So, some interesting things to look forward to. Tomorrow, we'll return to Cold Steel 2 and start wrapping that up over the next couple of weeks. And, yeah, that's it. Thanks for hanging out with me. Have a good night, and see you tomorrow for the Sunday stream. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.